Alrighty, so today, and it's a little scary how this happened, I'm going to be talking about Metro 2033. And the weirdest thing about this, because I did Shadow of Mordor and I did Resident Evil. I was just playing through those games and I said, hey, I did Metro Exodus, but I haven't done Metro 2033. So I took my time to play it. I've literally been falling behind. I've been needing to get this video made. And what I usually like doing is saying, when the game released and little bit things like that. So I Googled it last night because I was going to post this video last night and then I got tired. So I was like, I'll just do it tomorrow, Saturday, the 16th. And then I see it says Metro 2033 released in the US March 16th, 2010. So today is the 14th anniversary of Metro 2033. And I don't know how I was able to manage that. I don't know if my other videos have been able to do that, but pure coincidence, but hey, I'll take it. Metro 2033 is based off the book by the same name by author Dmitry Glukhovsky. And when this came out, I was basically in 8th grade middle school, going into 9th grade high school. And I remember going to Walmart and I just saw this cover, which was this reddish horror movie looking cover with a man in a person in a gas mask and a creature, and all it said is Metro 2033, and I couldn't understand what that even meant. I obviously had never read the book. I didn't know it was a book, and periodically I'd just keep walking by going, that game just from the cover, I'm so interested. I want to play it. And I thought it was just a full-on horror game. And it definitely has horror aspects, but it's not fully a horror game. The game has a very bleak atmosphere and a world that feels as if it's ending basically for good when you start the game. In the game, you play as Artyom, a young man about 19 in the metro tunnels who's about to become basically the hero and the legend of the metro station. The world and the atmosphere is what personally got me invested to continue playing. Not that everything else is bad, but just that was the big key thing. It feels like such a lived-in world, and you really get to see the daily struggles of the people of the metro. For most of the game, you are underground. You do get to see the endless tunnels of the metro, different monsters, the bodies of the dead, which they themselves have a story of their own. You'll find yourself walking around, checking every corner, wanting to explore, as at any moment you could find a hidden stash, or honestly something a little more sinister. Occasionally you do get to go to the surface, and this is where you really get to take into consideration having your gas mask, your health kits, and things like that. Basically the survival aspect. When on the surface, there are more creatures, more environmental hazards, and the air, since it is poisoned, is timed, which you can constantly check your time and make sure that your air filters have enough minutes left. And for me, I think this is a great way to keep players engaged and think about how to proceed to each area on the surface and really strategize your plan and think about your equipment and what to do. In saying that, there are in the game special bullets basically, which is your currency for the whole game. You can use it to buy a lot of equipment, better weapons, but it is also stronger bullets that you can use in your gun. And so by buying items, you sacrifice having better damaging bullets, or you can not buy items and use those bullets to easier kill your enemies. This leads into the topic of gameplay. The game has a standard first-person shooter control scheme, nothing new, nothing too bad. The game does feel a little clunky, which you can say might be due to either the game being made from 2010, not sure how good that argument is, or I guess that Artyom is, 18, 19, not sure how familiar he is with a weapon. Either way, you do have to be patient, because sometimes, if you fire a little too fast, the hitboxes don't detect correctly, and it's very, very aggravating. You do have a mini-map, objectives, different guns to modify and use for certain reasons. I say that because the game also lets you play technically kind of one of two ways. You can either do a very stealth playthrough or a very full combat vibe. You can turn off the lights, shoot lights, disable traps, sneak around enemies. This can help avoid using ammunition and just getting bombarded by enemies. Your firearms can have silencers, which does help a ton for those stealth playthroughs. The biggest gimmick in this game, though, that helps with, replaying the game, is that there's a karma system that can kind of be unknown and hidden from the player if you've never played the game before. In the game, there's a system in place for both good actions and bad actions. With enough good actions, you can get the alternate ending. The game has random moments for you to do a good action or a bad action. The alternate ending is not canon, which sucks, but it is neat to be able to unlock. The tough part about the karma system is that by sparing some enemies, it can count towards good karma, but there is no dedicated knockout button. It's more of just don't fight back and run to the next point without dying, and that's very frustrating. The karma system, in a sense, is linked to the main bad guy, quote-unquote, of the story as well, the Dark Ones. By the time the game starts, you hear whispers from the people of the Metro. They talk about the Dark Ones. It's, almost like a mythical enemy that only a few people say they've seen, but other people might not believe them. Having the Dark Ones added to the story is definitely interesting. It kind of elevated the sci-fi feel of it a lot. And the game does a wonderful job of slowly showing you the perspective of the Dark Ones and how they're trying to communicate to you. And for me, it kind of felt like when you deal and interact with the Dark Ones, it's kind of like the morality of, destroying an entire species or a people because you don't understand them. And so by not understanding them, you fear them. And don't want to get into too much spoilers. It is a 14-year-old game, but I'll leave it at that. Overall, this is definitely a game worth trying once. I would say beating it, a couple of times so you can do stealth playthroughs and stuff and kind of figure that out for yourself. I will say, so it's usually always on sale on Steam for like under $5. And on Epic Games, I've seen it free at least 2 times within the last 2 years. So there is always that if you have that on your computer. It's definitely a fun time. I'd say you can probably beat it on a weekend. And for me personally, I'll give the game an 8 out of 10. It's honestly not a bad FPS, not a bad tense kind of sci-fi horror game. And I just think they did a good job with setting up the world. A funny thing, though, I will say, is it seems like they could only hire like 2 voice actors at that time. And so you're basically going to hear the same 2 to 3 guys for the whole game, but it's supposed to be 100 different people. And they don't even try to change their voice. It's like the same guy doing the same voice for every character, which is so funny. But yeah, I think that's going to be it. And mind you, also, Metro Last Light, super fun. Metro Exodus, of all 3 of these, Metro Exodus is my favorite. I can replay that anytime. Metro Exodus took the world, everything of Metro, and made it so much better. And it does the perfect, just enough open world where there really is no filler, and you get just enough. I love praising Metro Exodus for being my kind of, quote-unquote open world game. So I guess that's going to be it for this video. Happy 14th anniversary to Metro 2033, and good on THQ for adapting the novel. I really need to read the novel at some point, so I guess that's going to be it for this. I can't think of anything to mention. I was probably going to make a video about a couple of more things that have been on my mind. But as most people know, I am live streaming on TikTok and YouTube. I'm going to try to do a little bit different stream tonight, but we'll see. I basically want to stream Gears of War 2 and 3, but I don't have a capture card, and I don't have the patience right now to try to get the emulator working correctly for it. So I'm just going to honestly prop up my phone on a tripod and do it, because on TikTok that's real popular. Maybe not on YouTube, but we'll see. Overall, I appreciate everyone watching, and I'm out.